Just after dawn, a frantic scream rang out from a house near the forest edge, shattering the morning calm. A massive wild boar had stormed straight into the yard, crashing through the fence and flipping over the feed barrels. Dirt and debris flew everywhere. The beast was so fierce that no one dared get close. We arrived quickly, scanning for tracks and piecing together the trail. The goal was clear: take down this boar, or the whole herd, before it returned to cause more damage. The hunt was on, and this time, there was no room for mistakes. As we moved toward the tree line behind the village, a rumble broke out ahead. A full herd of wild boars burst from the undergrowth, kicking up a storm of dust. No time to hesitate. I signaled my teammates to hold their ground, took a steady aim, and fired the first shot. One boar stumbled and dropped. A few more went down under my teammates' gunfire, while the rest scattered deep into the woods. An opening like that, completely unexpected. This hunt was shaping up to be far more intense than we imagined. After the main herd split, we decided to break into smaller units and follow the fresh tracks pressed deep into the soil. Not far away, a lone boar had strayed from the group, moving cautiously along a narrow trail. My partner and I crept in quietly, taking the downwind side to avoid detection. The moment the boar stepped out from behind the brush, I lined up the sights and squeezed the trigger. A clean, precise shot. Smooth, efficient, flawless. While we were sweeping another patch of ground, a faint rustle echoed from the slope to our right. There, a massive dark shape hiding behind a stand of dead trees, thinking it was safe. Too bad for him, I'd already spotted it. When the boar made its move, I fired. The first bullet struck its side. It staggered, but kept running. Not this time. The second shot hit home, and the beast went down hard. No running from that one. As the animal fell, the team quickly scanned the perimeter to make sure no tracks were left unchecked. We moved along the slope, where the soil was still soft with fresh prints. Then, out of nowhere, another boar dashed across my teammate's sights. Instead of rushing the shot, he pivoted left, adjusted for a clean angle. Boom! One shot, right on target. Sometimes, being off by a heartbeat means letting the trophy slip away. The sun dipped low, its golden light filtering through the leaves, carrying with it that familiar scent. Wild boar still lingered nearby. We switched tactics, created soft noise from the opposite side to lure them in. It worked. A big boar turned its head toward the sound, moving right into our zone. I steadied my aim and took the shot as it hesitated. A little bit of cunning, at just the right time, can yield incredible results. The team was running on fumes by now. The captain signaled for one final sweep before calling it a day. That's when a faint rustling froze us in place, the last boar trying to slip away unnoticed. The captain moved fast, positioning himself perfectly, steadying his breath, gauging the distance, and fired as the animal shifted direction. The hunt ended cleanly. One final perfect shot.
Every morning when my mother wakes up, the first thing she sees isn't the lush green of hope, but the shattered rice paddies, churned up and broken stalks scattered everywhere. We couldn't just sit back, so my brothers in the village and I decided to take action. Could we stop these savage beasts? The answer would come at sunset. Before setting out, the team gathered to strategize. We laid out the plan. Tom and I would take a position on the hillside to get a clear vantage point and control the high ground. John would hide at the foot of the mountain. Two others would work alongside the hunting dogs, ready to drive the herd toward the ambush point. Early morning, mist still hung low across the mountainside. Tom and I silently kept watch on the hillside, eyes sharp, tracking every movement below. Suddenly, the bushes rustled gently, and a wild boar as massive as a boulder lumbered out. My heart clenched, finger tightening on the trigger. The shot rang out, the prey collapsed to the ground. That moment marked the opening of a long battle. Keen observation from afar and lightning-fast reflexes are what make a hunter's success. I breathed a quiet sigh of relief, but deep down, I knew the real challenge was only just beginning. The peace didn't last long before the hunting dogs' barks echoed through the mountains. Tom and I immediately knew they were driving prey straight toward us. Both of us gripped our weapons tighter. As soon as the wild boar appeared, there was no hesitation. The shot rang out. Quick and decisive. The enemy was stopped in its tracks within seconds. On this hunt, alongside me were steadfast teammates and loyal, battle-hardened dogs. It made me feel stronger, more grounded than ever. The sweep continued. More dark shapes fell on the hillside. The survivors panicked, rushing down the slope in desperate bids to escape. But they didn't know John, our final line of defense, was already waiting below. His gun smoothly tracked the fleeing beast before the trigger was pulled. BM, another threat wiped out as the prey collapsed. All these skills etched into our very bones aren't for show. They're what allow us to stand as the strongest shield for our homeland today. As evening fell, a signal came in from the lookout post. A wild boar was wandering near the forest edge. We moved in immediately. Just as its shadow appeared, sensing danger, it darted desperately up the hillside, trying to escape. We focused intensely, held our breath, fingers lightly on the trigger, then bang. The bullet struck true, pinning the prey to the ground. This area was quiet for now. We pulled back to regroup, preparing our gear for tomorrow, heading toward the nearby Red Clay Hills, where the locals are also struggling against a rampaging herd. The next morning, we loaded up and headed straight to the spot. The scorching sun burned down, but it couldn't ignite the team's spirit. Sticking to the same strategy, I became the group's eyes, taking the highest vantage point with the mission to clear any threats from afar. Holding my breath, I locked the hairy beast firmly into my sights. A smooth but decisive squeeze of the trigger, and the creature dropped instantly. In that moment, pride surged through me. Every shot wasn't just skill, but a responsibility to protect the peace of the fields thirsting for a bountiful harvest. The fallen beasts left behind stood as proof of a long, productive day. As dusk settled and we prepared to withdraw, we spotted an entire herd of wild boars slowly making their way up the hill. Without a word, the team silently spread out to encircle them. The shot thundered, piercing through the thick hide of the boar, and once again, silence fell, with the creature lying still. Every time I pull the trigger, I don't see myself as just a hunter, but as a soldier fighting for the community. Sunset blanketed the ancient forest as we loaded our full haul into the Jeep Wrangler and headed home. Red clay stained our clothes, but everyone's heart was light. I grabbed my iPhone 16 to call my mother with the good news. The battle isn't over yet, but I believe that when people stand united, no beast can destroy the crops of our home. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss tomorrow's episode.
In a peaceful corner of rural Germany, wild boars have become a nightmare. In just 1 year, their numbers have skyrocketed by over 60% compared to the previous year, causing millions of euros in damage. Facing this crisis, the authorities have issued an emergency decree calling hunters into the western forests, believed to be the stronghold of these wild beasts. And we couldn't stand by. We hit the trail immediately. What about you? Do you have the courage to join us in this battle? Get ready, because this time, there's no room for hesitation. At 5 a.m., we gathered at the forest edge, running through the plan one last time. Each of us quickly dispersed, silently moving into our assigned positions. Those tense moments of waiting always test us the most. Then, the target appeared, darted right across our line of sight. The moment had come. A sharp gunshot rang out. Though the result wasn't huge, it was enough to mark a strong start for today's battle. Without a moment's rest, I used my tracking device to pinpoint where they were hiding. As soon as I locked onto their position, I moved to the ambush spot, ready to take them out. Not long after, a strange sound came from the right. I quickly turned my eyes in that direction. The shape of the beast grew clearer, and with a steady finger, I pulled the trigger, taking down the target. These creatures have sharp hearing. The moment the shot rang out, they vanished deep into the forest. The wild boars here are incredibly wary. This is their home turf, so every movement they make is careful and deliberate.
Yep.
But years of hard-earned experience from countless hunts allow me to read their trails and accurately predict the direction they'll come from. And the moment they stepped into my sights, boom! Down it went, right there on the spot. A clean, decisive finish amid intense tension. This dense forest is truly the perfect refuge for the wild boars, every sense on high alert. In a breathless moment of silence, the prey suddenly bolts across. No time to hesitate. My finger tightens on the trigger instantly. The shot hits the mark. Never before has taking down prey been so fast and effortless. There's clearly no luck here. This is the result of relentless training and hard-earned skill that only a true hunter possesses. Pressing deeper into the heart of the forest, every step careful and silent to avoid alerting the wild boars. There it is! Not rushing the shot, I stay calm, eyes locked on every stride it takes. The distance closes in. When the target reaches the perfect position, I hold my breath and squeeze the trigger. The second bullet puts down a tough opponent. I exhale in relief after a flawless takedown, cutting off the advance of these beasts and stopping them from causing any more damage.
Trousse qui passera à quelques mètres de Théo.
The alertness never fades. These wild beasts can appear suddenly, without warning, anywhere. It's this lurking uncertainty that creates intense pressure. But we're no amateurs. We've trained hundreds of times for moments like this. And when the moment truly arrives, every reflex and skill kicks into overdrive, enabling us to complete the mission swiftly and precisely. Amidst the thick tangle of trees, the wild boars hide with cunning skill, making them harder to spot than ever. Yet, Jay's sharp eyes miss no movement. A decisive shot, perfectly precise. That marked the end of today's hunt, just as night began to fall. The trails winding through the forest are not just paths, but hiding spots where wild boars seek refuge, evading human pursuit. They are clever, always veering off into narrow routes, leaving faint traces as if to challenge anyone daring to track them. Hunting wild boars isn't just about finding prey, it's a battle of wits, where the hunter's skill and patience are tested to the limit. Will we be able to conquer them? Follow along on this difficult journey ahead. We arrived in Evros early, gathering to discuss the plan for today's hunt. The team scattered, heading to their designated positions to search for the target with the quickest pace. As we moved, I remained focused, carefully observing, knowing deep down that the wild boars would appear here. Suddenly, a strange noise broke the silence, and the familiar strong scent filled the air. Then, the target appeared. I tightened my grip on the trigger. With swift consecutive shots, the prey was brought down instantly. In that moment, all the effort and tension faded away, and I knew this journey had only just begun. Thanks to their sharp instincts and meticulous training, the hunting dogs quickly picked up the wild boar's trail. They worked in perfect harmony, scattering to surround and drive the beast toward the trap we had set up beforehand. Every bark, every stride was a calculated part of the plan. When the prey emerged, a series of shots rang out, decisive and accurate. The wild boar, though desperately resisting, couldn't escape the tight circle formed by the hunting dogs. The result wasn't just a trophy, but a testament to the blend of wild instincts and human intelligence. Signals from another path rang out as warning bells, and swift footsteps moved quickly toward that area. The thick underbrush in this terrain is the perfect hiding spot for wild boars, but it's also the place where their traces are easiest to track. Every step I take is cautious, my eyes scanning continuously, ensuring no movement escapes my watch. As expected, a shadow darted past, quick and silent. A burst of shots rang out, sharp and powerful, cutting off any escape route for the beast. It could only fall where it thought it was safe. In the wild, only alertness and skill can determine the victor. I was certain that the thick brush along the path was hiding more prey. Relying on our experience and specialized fear, the team quickly initiated a systematic and careful search. After a few minutes, the tracking device sounded an alert. It was nearby. I immediately moved to intercept, every sense heightened, my finger ready on the trigger. The moment the beast appeared from the foliage, the shot was fired, hitting its mark. The threat was eliminated, and the area was secured from the destruction of these wild creatures. The afternoon sun was beginning to set as we continued our thorough sweep, ensuring there were no more hidden creatures lurking. After a long stretch of movement, the sound of the dogs once again drew my attention. A quick scan revealed the shape of the prey gradually becoming clear. Through the scope, I took careful aim. The moment it was in the crosshairs, the trigger pulled lightly. Perfect! Another mark for today's journey. But the hunt wasn't over. To the east, sharp sounds erupted one after another. An accurate and vivid record of the chase. As the sun set, the team began packing up to head back. Suddenly, the prey, which had been hiding so well, appeared once again. Despite the exhaustion of their bodies, the fighting spirit in each house flared up stronger than ever. After a few minutes of battle, The sweat, the tension from the entire day were finally rewarded. The prey fell, once again proving our strength and patience. The dense forests of Tuscany are not only beautiful, but also filled with countless mysteries and challenges. Here, wild boars, intelligent and powerful creatures, have the ability to blend seamlessly into the thick foliage, making hunting them an arduous trial. They are not just prey, but a true test of skill, patience, and the ability to handle the wild. That's why we decided to step into this forest, not only to hunt, but to conquer the challenges it presents. The early morning mist still clung to the forest as we arrived, ready to face the challenge that awaited us. Armed with specialized weapons and necessary support gear, we entered a hunt full of danger. Sensing that this area would likely reveal a target, I decided to take up a concealed position. Then, a familiar pungent scent hit the air, one I knew well. A series of shots rang out, aimed directly at the source of the smell. Precisely, there it was, the wild boar. Quickly advancing, the dark figure was not easily defeated, standing like an immovable rock. My finger tightened on the trigger, and the shot rang out. Precise, disabling the boar's fierce resistance. A perfect start, signaling a journey full of promise. Advancing deeper into the forest, every step we took was cautious, not daring to relax even for a moment. The hunting dogs pressured a target, their barking relentless, like the sound of a death toll. The boar tried to escape, but all its escape routes were sealed. At close range, Jay took his shot. Bang! The prey collapsed, ending its futile attempt to flee. Thanks to the seamless coordination and patience of our dogs, we had all the time and space needed to act. With the perfect range, Jay faced no obstacles. The cold, precise shot sealed the fate of this destructive creature. After surveying the terrain, we realized the wild boars here were incredibly smart. Whether alone or in a group, they always hid within the dense canopy, highly alert to any movement around them. We decided to spread out into different areas, each of us taking up a position to easily spot and deal with the targets. It wasn't long before a familiar figure appeared within our sights. The moment had arrived, and a precise shot was fired. The boar collapsed immediately. At the same time, Jay's shots rang out from the west, loud and rapid, like a clear report signaling that the deployed strategy had proven effective. After the loud blasts, the wild boar began to panic and flee towards the south of the forest. I informed Nick of the checkpoint location, and he quickly positioned himself, patiently observing every movement. There it was. It suddenly darted across. The opportunity had come. Nick tightened his finger on the trigger. A swift, precise shot. The prey collapsed right on the spot. a victory earned through patience and precision in every moment. Suspecting that wild boars were still hiding in this area, we continued to scan every nook and cranny. The tension hung in the air, my hand never loosening its grip on the rifle. As soon as the target entered the crosshairs, my finger tightened on the trigger. Perfect! A sense of satisfaction surged through me. All those hours of training had finally paid off. This area, with its limited visibility, was no match for our sharp eyes. Every step, every movement was meticulously planned, ready to take down the prey flawlessly. Just a few minutes later, the target emerged. A decisive shot rang out, and the beast collapsed among the trees. The prize secured, beyond our expectations. Wild boars are not only known for their cunning, but also for their terrifying destructive power. Hunting them is not just about aiming and shooting or setting traps. It's a brutal battle of wits that demands true skill and resilience. The rugged hillside terrain, dense thickets blocking the view, and even the slightest sound can send an entire herd vanishing into the wild. It is precisely this danger that fuels the fire of determination. The battle between man and beast has begun, where bravery, courage, and persistence will determine the victory. At dawn, we were already at the base of Anatolia Hill. Equipped with all necessary gear, each of us moved carefully, scanning the terrain while tracking our prey. The hunting dogs, once released, quickly picked up the scent of the target. Using their urgent barks as a guide, we determined the direction and positioned ourselves for an ambush with a clear line of sight. Just as the moment arrived, a sharp, dry crack echoed through the forest. Bullseye! A heavy thud reverberated across the mountains, marking a promising start to a day of intense mental and physical battle.
Yapıştır. Yapıştır. Çok iyi. Tamam.
As we ventured deeper into the terrain, we realized that the wild boars here were hiding with great stealth. Without hesitation, we deployed the full force of our hunting dogs, expanding the search area to flush them out from their concealed spots. Dividing into smaller teams, we set up a trap from multiple directions. I was tasked with blocking off the suspected escape route of the boar. As soon as the target came into view, without a second thought, I fired decisively. The wild beast collapsed right on the spot. The sounds of triumph echoed all around, signaling that our strategy had worked beyond expectations. After the recent success, without pause, we continued our advance toward the eastern hill. Scanning the area, I noticed that this spot had several targets easily accessible, so I decided to take up a hidden position and wait. Not long after, the prey came into view. Gripping the rifle tight, I took the shot. A clean, cold hit. The beast collapsed, rolling several times down the hillside, a warning to any who dared to trespass in this domain. Just as everything seemed to settle, the sound of hooves echoed as the rest of the herd rushed forward, as if challenging my patience and sharpshooting skills.
Yattı.
Each shot rang out like a declaration of war, and I was determined not to let any of them escape. Just as I was fully focused on the hunt, the wild boar suddenly dashed to the right, escaping my control with daring speed. Heaven reacted quickly, receiving the signal and immediately scanning the dense terrain. With the relentless pursuit of the hunting dogs, he soon spotted the fleeing prey. A steady aim, a swift shot. The bullet struck, sinking deep into the beast's body. The massive beast marked the end of the intense pursuit that had just unfolded. After the thunderous gunshots, the wild boars seemed startled and began to flee in a panic. But before they could find cover, the pack of hunting dogs quickly surrounded them, sending out their familiar signals. Without hesitation, we moved in closer. Right before us, the massive wild boar emerged, standing tall. Not wasting a moment, I took a precise shot. If this beast managed to escape, who knows what chaos this area would face in the coming weeks. The mental battle was far from over. We pressed on with the pursuit, handling each boar one by one before they could vanish into the depths of the forest, restoring peace to this land that had been disturbed for far too long. We continued to thoroughly scan the hillside before packing up to head back. Once again, solitary targets revealed themselves, occupying the smallest corners of the area. We immediately deployed the trap. The sound of gunshots rang out once more, footsteps pounding in the air, thick with tension. The outcome of this hunt exceeded our expectations, not only marking a successful capture, but also serving as a clear testament to the effectiveness of our strategy. Just a few weeks ago, this cornfield was lush and green, covered with heavy ears of corn. But now, after the harvest, it stands desolate. The dried, cracked corn stalks remain, leaving behind an empty, barren space. This is also the time when the wild boar herd begins to pour in, rummaging through the remains in search of anything left behind. And we knew this was an opportunity we couldn't miss. It was time to act, to stop this invasion and protect the land from the destruction of these wild invaders. From early morning, we hopped into our trusty hunting vehicle and made our way down the road leading to the recently harvested cornfield in Spain. Upon arrival, my eyes scanned the terrain with intense focus, surveying the area. And then, I spotted a familiar dark shape moving in the distance. I immediately adjusted the focus, my heart racing as I recognized it. A wild boar. Without hesitation, my finger squeezed the trigger. The bullet whistled through the air, hitting the mark. At the same time, over on the other side, Kevin was working hard every second to handle another target. A decisive start, showcasing both skill and perfect coordination within the team, right from the very first moments. Undeterred, we pressed on, continuing to scan the cornfield. Every step was quick and deliberate, for wild boars are never easy to catch. It wasn't long before another target appeared within our sights. A series of well-aimed shots rang out, each one hitting its mark, but the boar still surged forward with terrifying speed, its instincts kicking in as it darted into the corn stalks to escape. However, the massive 300-kilogram beast lay motionless not far from there, a victory that came as a surprise, causing the tension to dissipate in an instant. And the determination for the hunt was only heightened. The sun was high, and after a fruitless walk, my team and I decided to switch to ATVs to search for the prey across the open fields. There it is. Kevin quickly signaled to me. Once we had the direction, we sped ahead to intercept. Each shot was precise, taking down the target in the blink of an eye. Joy quickly became apparent, as all our planning and seamless coordination came together perfectly, with no beast escaping our grasp. After our lunch break, with the clock striking 3 p.m., we quickly made our way south across the field. While searching for signs of wild boar, Jay suddenly signaled that the prey had just escaped his pursuit. Drawing from years of hunting experience, we quickly pinpointed the boar's direction. As soon as the target appeared, a series of shots rang out. In less than a minute, the beast collapsed in the middle of the field, with cheers echoing. A testament to the skill and decisiveness of seasoned hunters. After hours of battling, the afternoon sun began to tint the entire field with a reddish hue. The wild boars, panicked, hid within the cornfields that had only been half harvested. We selected an ideal position to encircle the field, patiently waiting for them to show themselves. Their heightened vigilance made the pursuit much more difficult, but thanks to our patience and persistence, we quickly took down more of the elusive targets. Just when we thought it was all over, we returned with our trophies in hand. It seemed fate had other plans, as a few straggling boars remained scattered in the area. In just a few minutes, with swift coordination, each one of them fell,
Hey,
one
kid.
after another. Once again, our skill and vigilance allowed us to maintain the upper hand until the very last second.